people of the city and county of Honolulu said they wanted it to be a priority for the Department of Transportation Services to make Honolulu a bike-friendly city. The Wahoo bike plan just got issued in this new version in August, and currently there are 132 miles of bikeways on Wahoo, and this calls for adding 310 more miles. For the Hawaii Bicycling League, this means more bike lanes, bike paths, and sharrows to let cyclists know that they have safer places to ride, and to let drivers know that, hey, cyclists belong on the road. So we want to work with the city and the different communities to make sure that this happens sooner than later. I think they're talking about 20 to 30 years before all these actually happen, but for us that's way too long. We want the bike lanes to be put in when repavings occur, and so if we do it that way, this should be done faster. Anytime a street is repaved, if it's supposed to have bike lanes, bike paths, or some kind of bike marking, we'd like it to happen. The Wahoo Bike Plan is a 70-page document, so there's a lot of information in here. You can go to Hawaii Bicycling League's website, hbl.org, look under resources, and you'll see the whole bike plan, and you can then view parts of it. It's organized by different part of Oahu, and it's organized by street name. So that's the whole purpose, to get continuous paths for cyclists to know that they can at least have a protected bike lane or a sharrow. It's too narrow for a car and a bicyclist to pass side by side in the same lane. The law allows bicyclists to take the full lane so the car does not sideswipe the bicyclist accidentally. You want to be familiar with what's supposed to happen in your neighborhood so that it does happen. And we in the Hawaii Bicycling League would like to have our members be advocates wherever they live to make sure this happens sooner than later. And I'd say let's get this done in 10 years maximum, because every day we're having higher gas prices, we're having more pollution, we're having more global warming, and the more people have opportunities to bike safely, the more fit they'll be, the more money they'll save, the more they'll contribute to a cleaner environment. That's what we need for the continued good health of the 7 billion people on Earth and future generations. If we don't change the way we do things, I think we're seeing part of the effects now that the climate is changing, the Earth is getting warmer, and even on Oahu, they've said that number of days in a year when the trade winds blow has been reduced from 273 to 211 days. Another thing is that there's a discussion about the 5 E's, like ABCDE. So to be bike friendly, you have to have encouragement of cycling, meaning having events that highlight cycling. You have to have engineering, that's the bike lanes, bike paths, and sharrows. You have to have education, so that both drivers and bicyclists know what the rules of the road are, and especially the main one, that bikes may use the full lane for their safety. We also need enforcement. We will be the first to admit that many cyclists don't cycle the right way. They may go the wrong way up a street. That's really dangerous, because you're combining the cyclist speed with the driver's speed. Let's say the cyclist is going 15 miles an hour. Driver is going 30 miles an hour. Now you have 30 plus 15, 45 miles an hour impact speed. Whereas if you're riding parallel to each other, same direction, then car going 35 miles an hour, bicyclist going 15, and they collide, the maximum impact is 35 miles an hour. So cyclists can be their own worst enemy sometimes, riding the wrong way, right? Not stopping for stoplight and getting hit as a result. Not being visible with bright clothes or lights at night. Being erratic, going from road to sidewalk to road rather than being predictable, so that the motorist knows where you're going and how you're going. So enforcement by Honolulu Police Department would help, because those who are now being actually irresponsible when they bike should learn the lesson when they get a $90 ticket. And finally, evaluation, which is the purpose of this walk bike plan. You evaluate where you are, how you're doing, whether you need some new policies or new practices, so that you can, hopefully make most of the city, most of the island bike friendly. Almost everybody rode a bike as a kid. I think if they recall that, it was fun, there was a sense of freedom. I mean, even now when I go all around with my bike, if I go downtown, to me like, well, all I just have to do is find a parking bike rack and park. Zachary Manago went to Moanalo High School and then Hawaii Pacific University, and became such an avid cyclist. He, rode from Moanalo to HBU and back, and he just was getting so excited about the exercise and the freedom of cycling. And unfortunately, in December 2010, he was hit by a motorist while he was on the shoulder of the road, where he's supposed to be, and he passed away. His parents, Daphne and Dennis Manago, knew that Zach loved cycling so much. They knew that his vision was to have Hawaii full of bike lanes and places for people to ride safely. So they've allowed us to use his name and his tragedy to try to remind people that there's a tremendous cost to not being careful on the road.